Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to replace your RO membrane. Eventually they do go bad. I almost got about 3 years out of mine, and then I started to notice the TDS started rising way more than I'm comfortable with, so went ahead and ordered a new Axion RO filter here and a new carbon filter as well. I had another one of these around, so I'm going to use a brand new one there, and I will show you how to change this out really quick. So to start, just like the video I made 2 years ago or so, you need two 14mm devices, a socket and a wrench. So you're going to want to put one on each side, obviously, to loosen everything. Always a good idea to put some WD-40, let that soak in. I let it soak in overnight, so when I bring it out it should be a little easier. And then we're going to remove these bolts here and remove the old RO. So the fittings are off, and what sometimes you have to do, because this gets pretty snug on here, just use a screwdriver and a hammer just to kind of wedge it out. Obviously it's almost done, but I had to go around the corners really quick, just a couple taps just to get because what you see in here is that little O-ring. Once that's out you should be fine. So just kind of hammer it along the lines to where it can come off, and then take it off. And it comes off pretty simple, just got to get it started. Like I said, I just used a little screwdriver here and the hammer, and just kind of hit the screwdriver with the hammer, and there we go. So let's take the RO filter out and replace the new one. And I went ahead and did the other side as well. Obviously, a little hammer here, comes right out. Now you have access to push the old RO through, which all I'm doing is just using my hand here, and there's your old RO coming right out. Ooh, man, grimy, look at that. So, see the difference here? Now let's put it back in and get everything tested. And just so you can see, there's a big color differentiation there. So remember, this is how it came out, this is how it's going to go back in. The determining factor, just like I mentioned in my other video, the end that has the pure water, that the inlet and the outlet comes out, not the other end which has the your waste valve there. This is going to have an O-ring. This one has an O-ring, so this is just going to slide back in here, and we'll reconnect it. Let's get it going. Alright, now that the fittings are back on, everything was tightened back up like it should, just like it was. Everything's even and tightened up. Fittings are back on. The most important step though is to replace your carbon filter. This is the key thing. Always want to replace this. This is a 2-in-1, so it's a sediment filter and a carbon filter. But it's very simple. Place it in here, put the cap on, tighten it with the wrench here, and then what you're going to want to do, run that, connect that, and run the water through that for about 3 or 4 minutes, just to let all the stuff from the carbon filter kind of go through, and then hook it up to there, and then you're ready to test it. So let's test it. And like I said, just hook this up and let it run through. Give it like a couple of minutes, just because anything in the filter, you don't want anything going into your brand new RO. And always have a carbon filter. These don't tolerate chlorine, so always want to change these every 3 to 6 months depending on your use. But as you can see, just let it run, and then I'm going to hook this up to the RO and see what we got. Okay, and as you can see, water's coming in through the carbon filter into the inlet, out through the waste valve, which is on just so I can flush everything out. And then we have pure water out of here. So there we go. I'm gonna let this run, check my TDS, and then that'll be it. So pretty simple. And obviously, you could play with this. You can have it low if you want, and then obviously the lower you have the waste valve open, the more pure water. I like to do it like a 60-40 split, so maybe 60% of this comes out, maybe a little bit less, just so you kind of balance it out. And then as you can see, plenty of pure water coming out. But here's the main thing, none of this matters unless we go and test it. So I'm gonna let it run for another 5 minutes and then see what the TDS is. All right, moment of truth. Let this run for about 10 minutes. Fill this up here, and then go ahead and do my meter. 17. So the nice thing was, this was reading over 140. So the RO was definitely ready to get changed, and we went from 100 and almost 140 to 17. Hopefully you can see that, but there we go. We're ready to clean windows for another 3 years.